back again. Hey, gotta talk about this wild and crazy, and there's no other way to describe it but wild and crazy Steelers game. And Bengals game, because the Steelers prevailed 23-20, but the real story is, first of all, 20 penalties, 13 committed by the Cincinnati Bengals alone for 73 yards. You take away those 173 yards, the Bengals have a victory. As someone texted me and put up this, I'll just say a boss texted me and put up this just now. He's saying that Marvin Lewis should be fired after that game. And I have to say, I didn't see much of the game, but the highlights I saw reminded me of one thing. The Pittsburgh Steelers of 1974 and 1975. The 70s. And it reminded me of something I always supine, that today we can't handle that kind of football as a society. We just can't. I mean, those were the days when the Andy Russells of the world and the Jack Lamberts of the world were the real hitters. I'm not kidding you. And where there was consistently talk, in fact, the Raiders and the Steelers were not only involved in some of the greatest games in NFL history, but arguably some of the most violent games in NFL history. Straight out. This is a reminder that, hey, look, this is football, all right? But not only is it football, but as I've said before, the uniforms playing in straight out. Hey, ML Scott, do not meet the 21st century physical standard of football players. And so because of that, we have poor Ryan Shazier in the hospital with an injured spinal cord. And boy, I hope he can walk. Okay? I really do. But it shouldn't come to this, okay? Technology, if we're so tech awesome, right? Tech oriented, tech expert, we should be able to have a uniform solution, and I mean a uniform solution, for the problems faced by just the natural action of playing the game of football. Be it at, well, look, Little League, Pee-wee, Little League, Pee-wee/Little League, excuse me, high school, college, or pro level. Doesn't matter. We should figure out a solution. And people say, well, that was a beautiful game. I mean, it was a hard-hitting game. But to watch some people react to it, I'm thinking, are you kidding me? And it reminds me of, I mean, in terms of, are you kidding me? This is football. You expected, tiddlywinks? I mean, it's football. These are kind of, I mean, they're like, oh my God, it's like, oh no, he didn't actually hit him that hard, did he? Yeah, he did. It reminds me of a hit that Glenn Edwards put on, I believe it was the Minnesota Vikings receiver. I think it was Paul Warfield. Yeah, Paul Warfield got clocked, and I think it was Warfield that got hit by was it trying to remember the wide receiver for the Vikings that got hit so hard by Glenn Edwards. He was hit up in the air. I mean, he didn't go in the air, but the ball went in the air. Bam, boom, and the ball went in the air, and the Steelers came down with the interception. That hit today would have been flagged, but it wasn't. Okay, it wasn't then. It's a different game. Barry Lee says, what hashtag would I like for the retweet? Hashtag PITVizCIN. Pittsburgh versus Cincinnati. PIT. I'll write it right here so you can see it. PITViz. Thank you for asking. See, yeah. That's the hashtag I like, because that's appropriate. Because there's a lot to talk about tonight. There's, there's the upcoming City of Oakland workers strike. There's the Steph Curry injury where Steph is on crutches and an ankle injury that's happened to me. He just running along, he would quite literally twist his ankle, right? There's the Warriors coming back from down, 15, 20 points to win again. There's the Warriors getting 2 technicals within 5 minutes. There's the Warriors quite literally coming apart at the seams more often than not this year, which makes you wonder if it's them or somebody else to say, hey, you know what, we can rattle these guys. All right? There's a lot to talk about. But this Steelers thing, woo! All right? Now, everyone said that, you know, Marvin Lewis should be fired. And, hey, look, Eric Guerrero says Lyle Alzada best hit ever when he threw the helmet. And Joseph Binsman, John Mark says he's got news. Joseph Binsman says Giants got rid of McAdoo and Reese loving it. Glad Mara owned the stupid treatment of Eli. Yeah, I was very big on him to say, look, you want to blame somebody, blame me. Donald Richards says, Zinni, what do you think about the 1-game suspension Gronk received? I think it should have been 2, not 1. They were far too lenient on Rod. He deliberately dived into him. It's like he got up and he lost. If you look at the video, which I'm not going to show for copyright reasons, but he gets up. He goes, yeah. It's like he gets up and he's like, yeah, and he just, yeah. He grabs his helmet like that. He goes, it's like he's going, yeah, and then he spears the guy. I mean, it's deliberate, obvious, and nasty. Okay. Joseph Benson says some on the field karma for Burfect tonight. Juju is talented and can hit. John Mark says, I'm here to announce I'm forming Open Pro Sports Task Force in 2018. Cool. Vito 510 says, like, if he's the Hulk with that hit. Yeah, exactly. Like, and I think that's a great point, Vito 510, because maybe he, you know, there's this thing about multiple personalities, and maybe he snapped and that personality, that side of him came out. Got to work on that. There's some people who have that little switch, and it may very well be in him to have that switch. It certainly looked like it. And he got up, it was like, rah, 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 you know? That's what it looked like. And he's like, oh, man, I'm so sorry I did that. Meanwhile, Tre'Davious White, I believe, is on concussion protocol. So Donald Richardson says if Gronk was black, the whole world would have exploded over that hit. Thank you. Thank you, Donald. Telling it like it is. Telling it like it is. Yeah, we can't be aggressive. We can't be what? I mean, a lot of things. Smartest person in the room. The one that gets all the girls. Oh, no, he's scaring us. Yeah. Heck with it. Fight on. You know, just keep being yourself. But that's another story for another time. Hey, Kurt Flirt, how you doing? But wow, what a game. I mean, you gotta wonder. Oh, Kurt Flirt says, if you don't think Gart and Blady aren't sniffing coke, then you're out of it. You know, that never occurred to me. It didn't. I remember being at, well, I'm not going to say the place. Well, I will. It's a bar I walked into. I've frequented before. It's been a long time since I was there. Not the Balboa. And this girl was in front of me dancing, you know, and they're playing Tupac. And it was in the Marina District, okay? And, you know, all of a sudden she's with this guy, and they kind of go off. And I know this place like the back of my hand. And they go through this door, and they turn right. And that's where the men's bathroom is. And I'm thinking, ooh. So I'm like, eh, well, have fun. Good for them, right? And then she comes out, and and I know there was another guy that went back there because he asked somebody. It was a crowded place. He asked somebody, it was a Saturday night, where the bathroom was, and the guy pointed in the same direction. So he didn't, you know, obviously there was no weird reaction or whatever. But they came out a little later, and she had shut her purse as if she had pulled something out of her purse, right? And I'm thinking, and then on the train back from the Raiders game, this girl from Canada was talking about needing to, that she didn't have her blow. And I'm thinking, this is common to carry this stuff around now? And it makes me really concerned for the future of our society when we have so many, when drugs are so mainstream, all right, that people carry them around and do them, and they quite literally have these these ways of becoming multiple personalities. That's I'm sorry, that's scary to me. You call me old-fashioned or whatever, I don't care. That's a good way to be concerned about that sort of thing. But at any rate, now Kurt Flirt says, Joseph, I mentioned something here. Joseph Benson says, did you see that LeVar Ball is pulling his younger son out of UCLA, isn't he? I did. Laugh out loud. That guy has quite an ego. Yikes. Glad my dad never boasts. Whoa, 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 whoa. Look. You're mixing two things here. The dad is protective of his sons, okay? He should pull them out of UCLA. Why? Because UCLA didn't honor them. They made a mistake. And I'm going to say something to you. It's really easy for you to not go through that, what they went through, an honest mistake, okay, of a childish mistake without question, but an honest one, and then come back and realize that your school doesn't have your back, the same school that had no problem using your name to get money and not paying you in the process, okay? So, nah, I don't. Now, Kurt Flirt says, if you don't think Gronk, and I got that one. Crawford says Jack Tatum is smiling down on this game. He is. He is. John Mark says it's time to get it done. Hashtag Forever Oakland. Yep. John Richard says hashtag facts Coke. Kurt Flirt says Gronk should have gotten 5 games for that. I agree. He smashed that dude's head right in the ground with that hit. Yeah, and what if he died? Okay? I mean, let's come back to that. Kurt Flirt said Gronk should have gotten 5 games for that. He smashed that dude's head right into the ground with that hit. Yeah, and what if he died? What if Gronk hit him just so that it concussed him in a way where he lost his life? Because he really pounded him. And for all that, he gets a 1-game suspension? That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Bradley says, Joseph, really, who would take him with his ego and dad? Hopefully Cal. There's nothing wrong with a black person having ego. I'm just saying. Because I mean, some of you are going to get mad at me. I don't care. I do hear that kind of underlying thing. So what? So what? Bobby Knight behaves the same way. He has ego, but no one says, hey, Bobby, you've got ego. People just cheer on Bobby Knight. That's what they used to do. Hey, Bobby Knight. Cool, great. Bobby Knight. Awesome, right? Boy, I can number a number of people in sports, white, who act like that. Look at the way Sergio Garcia acts. Okay, now there's a blast of ego, but you don't find people yelling at him about his ego. They might, say occasionally call, they say this is a Spaniard and all this stuff, right? Ugh. Okay? But what if it's a black person who's not quiet? Oh, it's a problem. Please. Come on. All right? Ugh. This is killing me here. Y'all are my friends, all right? We could agree to disagree. That's what this is all about. You don't have to agree with me. I don't have to agree with you. Still love you, all right? So anyway, so here he says, what's going on with Godfather? He hasn't been on the show for a while. Ask the Godfather. Don't know. He's doing his thing, and hey, look, anytime he wants to come back, I've called, haven't heard back from him. So hey, look, that's him. So we move along and we keep the train going. So hey, I'll see you later. All right. Kurt Flirt says, speaking of coke, I actually saw a guy sniffing it right in the bathroom in the small club I was in a couple of years ago in the Bronx. Yeah, and I want to make one thing clear, folks. I am not advocating drug use. Okay, I mention it because I find it disturbing. And we're about what, a month or so? No, yeah, a little over a month. All right, from legalization of marijuana, and okay, fine. But my point is, I think there's too much emphasis placed on this freedom to get high and not enough emphasis placed on the idea that everybody should have an affordable home. You understand what I'm saying? We're going off the rails here, and we need to sound the alarm bell before it's too late. Unless maybe it's too late. Hey, Rick Gray, how are you? How are you? Hennessy says, we already seen that ex-Miami coach in the video earlier this year. Crazy. Yeah, thank you. Right. The offensive line coach with Miami. And then, of course, the Dolphins. And then, of course, Laramie Tunsil, right? Kurt says, Zinni, they stole from 3 stores over there in China. It's kind of a little more than that. Maybe it was a little more than that. But my point is, okay, yeah, it was a little more than that. But my point is, as a father, you look out for your son. They brought him back and they said, okay, you can't play UCLA. What's he supposed to do? Leave him there? They basically banished him from playing. So what's he supposed to do? Okay? He's not supposed to leave him there. I'd take him out too. That's what you're supposed to do, all right? So Joseph Bismuth says, so you don't buy the story that they stole the shoes or shades, I gather? No, I do buy it. It's not a matter for sale. They made a mistake. Look, I know friends who went into locker rooms who are very prominent people now who pulled things like they've stolen jerseys. I wasn't there when they did it, but I know they did it. I'm not going to say who it was. I say this. Every person on this earth has something they did that was wrong that today can be magnified to make them look like somebody they're not. You know what's that old saying? It's and this too shall pass, right? They learned. Because look, at the end of the day, they could have been locked up in the Chinese Huskow for a long time. And I don't know what that's like over there. But fortunately, they don't know either. All right? So Don Richards says, I'm black. My ego is large, especially in front of non-blacks. And so, Donald, you see what I'm getting at, all right? Joseph Binsman says, I agree, Kurt. But, Donald, you see what I'm getting at. Vito says, at the end of the day, you want your school to have your back, especially when they're making money off your name. That is all I am saying. That's all I'm saying. John Mark says, Reggie Jackson had an ego when he was with the... Yeah, but people didn't talk up. They had an ego, but so did Billy Martin. Okay? No one ever said that Billy Martin had an ego. Fiery temper, yeah. But Billy Martin had a massive ego, and he didn't like this guy upstaging him. He acted like it. It was ridiculous. His behavior was ridiculous. Okay? Scott says, taking off... I got that one. Benjamin says, have a good night to ML. Nick Z says, if Juju was a Raider, he would be ejected, fined, and suspended 2 games. Yep. Joseph Benjamin says, yeah, here in New Jersey, the new Governor Murphy has promised to legalize marijuana. Right. And fine, okay? It has a great deal of many benefits. My concern, and look, the greatest benefit of all is that it gets a lot of people of color, a lot of black folks off the hook who have been wrongly incarcerated over the years and targeted. That's the biggest benefit of all, is that that crap is over. All right? Over. It's just that it happens to come at a time when you have a lot of our wealth owned by very few people. As was, and I hate to say this, I don't want to lose anybody. I hope you stick around if I say this, but as the Bible predicted in Revelations. Some scary times, folks. All right? And I don't mean to get all, apocalyptic on people and everything, but keep your eyes open, read, and look around and ask yourself what's happening. It's a good idea regardless of your age. 15, 35, 45, 55, 65, 75. It's a good idea to pay attention to what's happening and ask yourself, why is this happening now? Okay? Like, for example, at the time we're at the most diverse, why is it that economically we're the most divided? At the time we're the most diverse, why is it suddenly that our political discourse is so angry? This should be the time we were all together and in harmony, But it seems like there are forces that seem to want to drive us apart at the time we're all really mixed up. That's really weird to me. I don't want to get off on that. I'm just saying, okay? Kurt Firth says, that's true. Too many people focused on freedom of drugs. Yeah, and fine. But I mean, in its due course. And what bothers me on top of that is you have this need for drugs, and then people using the smartphone. You have teens and young adults who are depressed and isolated. So they get depressed and isolated. They medicate themselves with the drugs, okay? And they become this different person, and you don't know where that's going to take them, let alone how it's going to impact your life. Ugh. Just saying, all right? Don Richard says, I did not know they would ask for a drug test right after a game. That was interesting. Is that a regular occurrence? Yeah. Vito 510 says, yep. House in Bay Area is going for $1.5 million, and everyone worried about smoking, how we have rent control, not how we have rent control in the Bay Area. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I had another friend of mine who's a big real estate developer. He was saying, hey, frankly, he's an Oakland guy, and he says, hey, you know, my average renter pays $3,000 a month, $3,150 a month. I'm like, whoo, okay, and he's happy. He's happy, but I'm saying, what about affordable housing? He says, well, you have to have more housing because we had this shortage, but we didn't have redevelopment. You know, we used to be able to produce affordable housing. That, what it bothers me is that you have, as long as somebody's making money, it's like, woohoo, I'm making money, it's great. But, you know, and this person's a great friend of mine. I'm like, but, wait a minute. All right? That's a little something weird there. Anyway, all right. Joseph Business says, stealing is a mistake. I can't agree with that. No, stealing is a mistake. It's a youthful transgression. You know the term. But Joseph Business says, stealing is a mistake? Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. He says, I can't agree with that. Especially doing it in China is kind of mindless, knowing that they would lock you up real fast. Well, they didn't know that. See, this is the problem that I have, Joe, is that people, because they're athletes, you assume they're kids, all right? And I don't know, I remember what it was like to be that age. And there are things that you never dream of that are going to happen because you're not aware of them. It's one thing to have a concept, and it's another thing to have in a reality, okay? Now me, I've always been I try to be a by-the-book person, but even then, hey, you know, I have a DUI. I blogged about it, how that happened, everything. I have 2, okay? And because of the nature of them, now they went down to reckless, all right? When I had, well over a decade ago, I was trying to bring the Super Bowl here. I should have died in that crash. And it wasn't like I'm an alcoholic or anything. No, it's a matter of circumstance. It's a matter of, you know, I went out. That one, I fell asleep at the wheel. But the other times, I was taking other people home, and I was legally not, you know, I was not drunk, okay? But I was at that limit. And the first time, it was like some guy, and I've talked about this before, this is not new, some guy in front of me, I was going on the Bay Bridge when they were building the new one, and when you come on the Bryant Street side, if you look over, you have to wait for the traffic to go by, right? Well, when I looked over this time to the left, there was nothing but air. I thought Godzilla had taken out the bridge. I'm not kidding you. It looked like that. I was like, holy crap. And in the moment that I was trying to process what was going on in front of me, I was only doing maybe, 8 miles per hour, maybe 5. The guy in front of me stopped. So it was like a minor bump, all right? But we both went to check our cars. Nothing happened. We both agreed to call the police just to file a report for insurance, right? And the guy says, well, let me breathalyze you. I said, fine. Nothing came out the first time. It was 0. The guy looked, and his partner, both SFPD guys, looked like, hey, this is weird. So he did it a second time. Nothing. And so he did it a third time. But on the third one, I've told the story before, the guy pats me on the back and goes, okay, now you're, and I go, ugh, and he goes, okay, now you're over. What? Okay, so we asked them to come to court. They never came to court. Second time, dude's tailgating me like this close, won't leave me alone. I'm being harassed. I don't know who this person is on the bridge. I go in front of a CHP officer to get their attention. They let that guy go at 80 miles per hour by me. We get off the bridge. They do their things. They stop me. I told them what's going on. He goes, oh, don't worry, we'll have you out of here. And then you know, handcuffed me. One tear rolls down my eyes like that. He goes, "Oh, you're gonna do that?" And he body slammed me on the hood of his car. You hear what I'm saying? I told this to SF Public Defender Jeff Adachi. All right, and that'll be taken off my record because that guy. We asked him that asshole. We asked him to come to court twice. Never did. 2005, the CHP was written up as being racist, as having a record, and particularly for people of color, of arresting them and incarcerating them for BS reasons that today you would hope they don't get away with. So I say all that to say that you don't think that stuff's going to happen to you, but it does happen to you. It does, particularly when you're young. Those guys screwed up. They got a blessing from God, and don't think for a moment they take that for granted. They don't, okay? They don't. But what I'm saying to you is that nobody's perfect. It can happen to you. Anything can happen to you. You don't expect it. What it is, you have to be, sometimes people are lucky and things don't happen to them. Great. But that's not true for a lot of people in different ways. But when you're young, you especially don't think things are going to happen. You never think about it. You think it's just something you saw on television. No. All right? Donald Richards says, I can't stand a habitual thief. You made a one-time mistake. I can forgive you that and get over it. Yeah. Thou says, laugh out loud. It's so scary for some, for others, sweet justice coming. Donald Richardson says, what a time to be alive, isn't it? Yes, it is. Dell Jr. says, NFL fans need to make sure Gronk gets suspended for that cheap shot on the Bills player. Well, he did, but for one game. Joseph Binsman says, I brought up the Ball story because I think it poked a huge hole in LeVar Ball. He brags he's such a great parent, and look what his kid did. Right now, I believe his ego is better than his parenting. Why are you so concerned about his ego? So what? I mean, why? Okay? Don't have a problem with a black person that is demonstrative. It really sounds racist. It really does. I'm just telling you straight out. Okay? That is ridiculous. I don't get where this comes from. I mean, here's my point, all right? And this is something I really, particularly, Joseph, I want you to understand, is it has to do with, if you're going to make that comment about someone, search deep and say, okay, you're talking about somebody who's black. And in the back of your mind, you have to ask yourself this question, all right? Why is it that I might have an African-American man who's demonstrative like that? Look at Ali. It's because we've been shut down for so long. If you don't understand the civil rights movement and what we went through during my lifetime when I was born and coming up, that's why I'm Zenny 62, okay? Then you're never going to get the hard facts that, as Abraham Lincoln said, the hard facts that created America. That's one of them. So Dr. Edwards, Harry Edwards has talked about it. Ralph Wiley, the famous late, rest in peace, Sports Illustrated columnist, wrote a book called Why Black People Tend to Shout. It's because we've been told to shut up and sit down and be quiet by someone white. And then essentially when you talk about someone's ego, that's what it sounds like you're unintentionally doing. Unintentionally, okay? Just saying. All right. Rick Gray says, I'm coming late. Lakers have banned the media from doing interviews near family and friends, creating the LeVar Ball rule as workers at Staples, creating the LeVar Ball rule as workers at Staples Center say. What's your take on LeVar Ball? I like LeVar Ball. I understand what LeVar Ball is doing for his kids. He's a media genius. And he is being exactly what society doesn't want. A loud black guy. And that's why I applaud him. Because it's kind of like, you know what? Rub it in society's face to get society to stop, trying to get a person to be a certain way. That's what I'm talking about. Because, it's ridiculous. I love it, right? It's interesting. Now, is LeVar Ball right all the time in terms of how he treats people? Heck no. No, not at all. Not at all. But I love seeing, you know what it's like for me? It's like a scene in Jaws, the great movie that was made by Steven Spielberg my favorite movie maker of this generation, any generation. And Quint, played by the legendary late actor Robert Shaw, who was also in From Russia with Love, the James Bond movie, right? Okay, but Robert Shaw as Quint gets up. There's the townspeople are scared to death because this great white shark has killed this girl out in a famous scene, right? And he, in order to get their attention, takes his fingers and his nails and he puts them on the blackboard. It makes that screeching sound. That is LeVar Ball. That great screeching sound is LeVar Ball. LeVar Ball is to sports what Donald Trump is to politics. Think about it. LeVar Ball is to sports what Donald Trump is to politics. Think about it. Now, reading your comments, okay? That's my take on LeVar Ball. Bausch says, we will never all be together. Just, what did he say? We will never all be together. Just won't. Sad truth. Benjamin says, I definitely feel we should be rallying together, but screw the Republicans. It's clear they only care about the rich. Bao says, Benjamin, we won't. People difference will always hold them back. Donald Richards says, kids do dumb blank. Right. Kids do dumb stuff. I'm not going to say the word, but in fact, I'm surprised it was able to be written here. But whatever. At any rate, Joseph Binsman says, but isn't it LeVar's job as a dad to tell them what to expect when they get to China? Seems he failed to do that, and why I brought it up. Well, he didn't think... Look, what parent thinks that their kids are going to be in a situation like that? He didn't. Okay? I mean, and I'll bet you $1,000 that most parents would not think to tell their kids that. Now, me, if I'm over there, I'm saying, you know, don't get into a romantic relationship while you're over there. Don't bother. Don't go to a club and don't get in any trouble. Why am I saying that? Because I'm thinking of Amanda Knox. Remember Amanda Knox? Who's in Seattle now, married? Amanda was 20. She was a wild child. Amanda, by her own admission, she had 8 boyfriends at once. 8! Met some dude on a plane, ended up doing the Mile High thing with him, you know, on the way overseas. Met another guy, had it with him. I don't think, sadly, any of them were black. But that just tells you something. I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying, all right? Just being real with you, all right? Would love to be proven wrong. So, Amanda Knox, if you're watching this segment of my show, let me know and just type and say, yes, I was with a black guy. Fine. Maybe 2. But the whole point is, all right, just chime in there. My point is, Amanda took those habits over into Italy, and she got herself in a situation that, just like the LeVar Ball. I mean, what do you say, all right? But now we have that model now. Now we have the LeVar Ball model. Don't do this. Don't do that. It seems logical, but we don't always handle things logically. So, okay. Joseph Ben says, one can hope, boss. Boss, your ruler says, Bensman, how many centuries have we had? Folks still don't get the memo. Being played by powers of earth. Couldn't have said it better. Joseph Bensman says, yeah, but kids with bad parents definitely can do bad stuff. Donald, I don't view LeVar as a good dad, but that's just me. Joseph Bensman, as a moderator, I ask you not to use bad language. Otherwise, I'll have taken moderating privileges away for that reason, okay? Please don't do that. Okay? Otherwise, I'll have to do that. Because, no, you cannot be like anybody else. You're a moderator. All right? Just letting you know that. All right. So, Joseph says we can always work to push the ball forward through Bausch. That's all we can do. Bausch really says Bensman, just ball rolling back. Donald Richards says all kids do bad stuff sometimes. What is this with this language? I don't like this. Stop using that word. Otherwise, I will have to figure out a new way to crap it out, all right? So, just saying, okay? I don't want that on my channel. You can figure out another way to express yourself, but please stop doing that. Otherwise, I will, that's not good. I thought I had that thing taken out. Now I got to go back and figure out what the heck is going on. Balsha really says, Lanjo and Lamelo are probably going overseas to play ball. Laval is a loser. Redikuko says, I hear you, Zinni. I hate how cops treat us. We are parking lot. Indeed, they can be nicer. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. See, that's exactly my point. All right. That is exactly my point. So, I mean, I could not, like I said, I could not have said it better. I really could not have said it better. It's, we are in challenging times, and I think the overall message here is that we really have to be, not even as parents, it does take a village to raise a child, and we as parents have to be mindful, as adults, have to be mindful of the fact that we have to set an example for the young, and it's not just the parents themselves, but society as a whole. You have to do that, okay? We really need to be careful, and we really need to take care to make absolutely certain that we're taking our responsibilities, doing our part to make sure the kids are better. So it's not just the parents, it's all of us. I mean, for example, you said LeVar Ball, right? But if UCLA, let me put it this way, all right? If UCLA, okay, is, hey, I accept your apology, Joseph. If UCLA is the team that's responsible for the Ball's son to being over there, why don't you put the responsibility on UCLA? Oh, see my point? Because you focus on LeVar Ball's ego, you forget that this issue is more UCLA's responsibility than his, because UCLA is not taking care of his kid. And that's what UCLA is supposed to do. That's what the NCAA is supposed to do. They set the whole thing up. So why aren't you blaming them? If I were a parent, I would be livid. I would sue them for allowing that to happen to my kid. Forget anything else. But hey, look, you didn't properly chaperone my kid. You let them run off like that. Anything could have happened to them. How come no one's upset about that? Because their dad is black and yells a lot? I mean, come on. I mean, seriously. Ugh. Balsha Ruler says, Don Rich says, they're not the Cosbys, and that's why most of America is tripping off the Ball family. And as Joseph Bismuth says, that was a crazy story, the Knox story. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And Joseph Bismuth says, I think we'd be better off without Trump and people like Trump and LeVar Ball. Yeah, but we have them for a reason. And Joseph Bismuth says, I think LeVar should acknowledge that he's not perfect, that's all. Who cares? Why aren't you putting any freaking blame on UCLA? That's ridiculous. All right? That's ridiculous. Bausch says, laugh out loud, Zenny, tell them brothers, don't knock them overseas chicks down, they're going to knock down. Oh my God, that is a lot. And whereas, Del asks about Alden Smith, and Baus calls him all dumb Smith, which I disagree with. Baus really says, Celia was dumb for sure for China trip, but LeVar has made such a circus that people want his boys to fail. Sad but true. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's wrong. And so because everyone's focused on LeVar Ball because he's a loud black man, okay, UCLA gets off scot-free. He ought to be calling out UCLA. In fact, in a sense, he did by pulling his kid out of there. But UCLA did not take care of those kids, those young men. They didn't. And so UCLA, somebody ought to have their ERS, Oh, that's ridiculous. Absolutely. And Rick Gray says, any news on ground survey studies at the Russell Road site? Also, the flooding issue. I talked to a developer from Vegas that says Russell Road area never floods, who obviously doesn't know what he's talking about. 2020, 21 in Oakland now. They're Oakland, but whoever said Russell Road never floods has no idea what they're talking about. And you know what? If you have that developer, why don't you just, instead of saying you talk to them, send them my way. Bring them on. Say, look, I got a guy I want you to interview with him, okay? Bring him out in the name, and then we can see if I have the guy's name. It's a different story, but you just say a developer. That's meaningless to me. Who? Names. Name, rank, serial number. All right? All right. Joseph Ben says, that's true, Zinni. A school has to take care of kids overseas, but the decision to steal is on the kid. Not if the kid is being chaperoned. I mean, come on, man. I mean, seriously. Big Eightful says, how you doing? He says, LeVar Ball is the Don King of basketball. Only in America can a LeVar Ball be made. True. That's true. John Rich says, I respect your wishes on language, Zinni. I can't apologize for the way I communicate because that's the real me. I hope I can disagree on that point. Well, it's not that. It's what you have to understand is that, and what we're going through here at YouTube, okay, is you have a multi-generational audience. And YouTube has always been, well, not always been, okay, but is finally very sensitive to the fact that YouTube has a young audience, and we have to begin to set standards about how we conduct ourselves out of respect for that very young audience. And not only that, hey, look, advertisers don't want to put their brands on this. You're looking at a guy, if you type YouTube N-word, okay, Zinni Abraham, me, you'll find out that I led what CBS News called a one-person crusade to get YouTube to install a filter so that no one can use the N-word. Because it's not fair if I'm trying to attract advertisers to have somebody using bad language and they don't want to deal with that. All right, I remember in the early days of YouTube, we had a community meeting down over in San Francisco, actually, at the Google office there. And they were saying, well, I was complaining about the N-word then. They're saying, well, I remember Jamal, who has Black Tree Media, was saying, well, hey, the comments make you money, so just deal with it. And I'm thinking, okay. And then I thought about it. I thought, wait a minute. Why do I have to be held to a lower standard of tolerance? Excuse me, a higher standard of tolerance because I'm black, as opposed to these knuckleheads being made to stop. All right? 4 years. I finally got my filter. It took 4 years. 4 years. And the argument, because Ad Age was the first to take up my argument and put my column out there, basically they say, hey, Zinni is right. How are you going to attract the brand? How are you going to attract brands to put ads on your channel? You got all this language going on. You don't want to deal with it. Logic. Hello? Ding. Man. All right. Joseph Ben says, I don't want him or his sons to fail. Talking about LeVar Ball. I just think LeVar doesn't come off as a nice guy. I'm with you guys on UCLA, no doubt. No, it's not that LeVar isn't a nice guy. LeVar is a nice guy. He is just a demonstrative black guy. Okay, he's got his ideas, he's got his opinions, and some people are afraid of that. I'm not one of them. I'm used to guys like that. At all. Bow says, Lonzo is a Laker. I want him to fail. That's hilarious. Oh, that's hilarious. Big Eightful. Oh, man. John Marks says, Rick Gray never feel J. Marks is here. The law office of Marks, Adams, and Ollie. Big Eightful says, what's up, John? Don Richard says, who is he? John Marks says, Big Eightful, how you doing, man? The Barber 74 is here. Christmas wish list. Oakland Raiders stealing Oakland. Ding. Big Eightful says, John, I'm good. How about yourself? John Marks says, I'm looking good. Dang. Basha Ruler says, good luck chaperoning 18-year-old black kids who are 6'8", laugh out loud. Let them smell the air, even they're as bad as China's. Yeah, but chaperone them anyway. You know what? Because, look, a young person always appreciates someone who is an adult who cares enough to make sure they stay on the right path. That's all anybody ever asks for. Nothing wrong with that. Ed Reed says, what's new with the fans swing the Raiders in? The dormant. I'm told dormant, all right? And Joseph Bensman says, more news about Russian collusion, Trump, Manafort, and Flynn today, too. Ooh, I missed that. Bashirula says, Bensman, Trump going nowhere. Rick Gray says, okay, so you know what? Tomorrow is Roy Moore Day. It's the day that we find out how much the South has changed, if it has at all. It's going to be an interesting day. Then Atlanta has its mayoral election. Mary Norwood, Republican white, is one challenger, okay, one person vying for it. And then we have her. I thought she was leading in the polls. She's got a lot of endorsements, but and she even got an endorsement when I was really shocked. She got an endorsement from Shirley Franklin, the previous mayor of Atlanta, right? But you've got out of, I think, how many we have? Something like, what, 12 candidates? We have this runoff between, Keisha Lance Bottoms and Mary Norwood. And Keisha Lance Bottoms is a very smart, very straightforward, in your face. Well, I'm going to say in your face because that's the wrong connotation. She's a very confident, attractive black woman, and who's very well regarded. And I don't know what she's got she's got the backing of the current mayor, Kasim Reed, who's termed out. So it's going to be interesting to see, what if Atlanta elects, I think, the first white woman in its history. She's and Keisha Lance Bottoms has a great base of people, great base of fans. She's been Atlanta City Council person since 2010, and this is 2007, 7 years, all right? And so this is going to be interesting. Plus, this is Keisha Lance Bottoms. You gotta take a look. This is Keisha Lance Bottoms, all right? So I gotta say, wow. So she could be Atlanta's next mayor. We're gonna find out tomorrow. We are going to find out tomorrow. It's going to be fascinating. It's a fun time to be alive, as they say. Now, what endorsements has she had? I'll endorsements. And let's see here. Oh, John Ossoff. Ooh, John Ossoff stepped forward to back Keisha Lance Bottoms. So then she got Julian Bond, and wow, she's got some heavy people. She got the Southern Carpenters Regional Council, Kwanzaa Hall. Got a rapper Killer Mike, T.I. came out for her. So this is going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting race. It's got to boil down to who comes out to vote. So we will see what happens. Who comes out to vote. That's the thing. All right. So Rick Gray says, okay, we have the new tax law that adds what, $850 million to the cost. How much does the stadium cost now? It's going to be not $850 million. No, that's the bond issue. We'll add $150 million to it. So yeah. But even with that, it's at $3 billion already. And that's without the whole GOP tax thing. Joseph Bensman says Let's see here. Sorry I missed that, Joseph Binsman. Donald Richardson telling us the Lakers must fall. And Trump's going nowhere. I said that one. Well, Binsman says, we will see about that, boss. That's like saying we'll go nowhere if there was no gravity. Laugh out loud. John Mark says, all about the money. Bouse says, Binsman. How? Guy is slick. See that hair? Talking about Donald Trump. That is hilarious. Donald Richardson says, Lakers must fall. Fail. Facts. Hashtag facts. Binsman says, laugh out loud. Takes product to get it like that. Like screwing over people to get where he is now. Big April says, if the ball boys make it, LeVar will have the last laugh. Thank you. Thank you. Rick Gray says, when will the Raiders bow to this deal? Brian Sandoval can't get the stadium done for what the Raiders agreed to. Does Oakland have a backup plan ready? If Oakland has a backup plan ready, it's secret. This is going to be the long slough. But like I said, look, remember the date. May 16th, 2018. And just watch how things unfold from now until then. Okay? But I'm telling you, this is one of those face-saving things. This is like, you know what this is like? This is like, this is, to me, it's like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where I think it was King Arthur challenges this kind of hooligan knight or wherever he was, and he cuts off two of his arms and his two legs, right? Well, two of his arms. He only has two arms, and he just says, "Oh, it's just a flesh wound." And he's trying to fight him, and he's like wiggling around like that. That's the Vegas deal. They're never going to admit. They're never going to admit that they're in trouble, even as they're in trouble. It's just, that's just the way it is, okay, folks? You're not going to get them to say, Uncle. They're going to play it out to the bitter end. And what the bitter end looks like, I don't honestly know. But I do know it's going to be a bitter end. Because it's going to cost a lot of money to clean up these problems and a lot of time. And as someone said to me yesterday, who I cannot mention, and they said this to me at the game, and I can say that they are a very well-placed official, and I can say that they're a friend. And this person, if I told you who said it, it would shock you. Okay? But this person said to me that, look, Las Vegas wants the NFL, but I'm just not sure it's the Raiders. Okay? So, there you go. And that's as much as I can say. That's as much as I can say. Now, Patrick M. Blackman says, aren't they technically men and women when they're in college? Doesn't matter. It doesn't. The college is responsible for you. The college is responsible for you, Patrick. If you have kids, don't ever think the college that sends them off overseas isn't responsible for your kid. If you think that as a man, your wife will have your head. Period. She ought to. Balshirula says, Zinni, as a young man, when you go out of town, you have a desire to lay the lumber and sow your royal oats. You do. But you got to have somebody there to hold you in check. You can come back here and do that. Just don't do it in China. Do it over here in someplace, right? Be careful. Don Richard says, Zinni, you have a good way of getting me to see your point of view and having me to ditch my opinion and side with yours. Hey, thanks. Hey. Unbelievable. So anyway, Ed Reed says, will Lott's group make another pitch to the Raiders? Not knowingly. No. Joseph Binsman says, Zinni, I think you're a week early. I'm pretty sure the Moore race is voting on the 12th. I thought it was tomorrow. Let me see here. Alabama runoff. Election. Let's see here. News. Roy Moore gets Trump election. Trump has full support. Let's see here. Alabama special election. Alabama special Senate election. Hold on a second. Hey, if you're right, you're right. Cool. This gives me fewer things to pay attention to on one day, thankfully. Yep, you're right. December 12th. I was wrong. It's scheduled for December 12th, 2017. So that is a week from tomorrow. So yeah. Phew, boy, thank God. I had enough on my plate. So we've got that. We've got Atlanta mayor election 2017 is tomorrow. No, excuse me. Not tomorrow. It was yeah. No, probably it was November 17th, but the runoff election is December 5th. Okay, so the runoff is tomorrow. So I got that right. I assume that they're both together. They're not. Okay, fine. Clear on that. All right, now. Thank you, Joseph. Much appreciated. John Mark says, let's talk about net neutrality, Zinni. Let's not. Big April says, the reason I say that is because I'm having too much fun with this other stuff. Big April says, good night, all. I'm going on early. Hey, Big April, I'll see you, man. Good night. Boss says, will net neutrality stop? Not touching that. Don Richard says, I want women to be empowered. Just vote the right ones for the love of God. Okay. Let's see here. Joseph Benson says he's got big baller baskets. All right. Joseph Benson says the Republican Party has re-endorsed more in Alabama. Predictable. Seems like pedophiles have a home in the Republican Party, not morals. I have a theory about that. Joseph Benson says when you're 18, you can't drink, but you can vote. We need to fix that. Laugh out loud. That's my reply to you. Yeah, it used to be, okay. Yeah. I mean, it's always been out of it. Let's see here. Crawford says the Silverdome is finally imploded. Again, that is an indictment of competence, or that is demonstration of how incompetence has so become mainstream today. Oh, it's horrible. Oh, it's horrible. All right, man. Oh man. Rick Gray says, so the Raiders' clear land is set up for building per their responsibility. Cha-ching. Does that mean the flood control issues regarding the soil have to be solved before the Raiders turn the land over? No. They're still there. And that's part of the construction cost. That's part of infrastructure prep, okay? And that adds to that large bill. The trouble is that, well, here's the thing, okay? It is part of, or should be part of, the guaranteed maximum price that's supposed to be released toward the end of February, okay? So I have a feeling that if they want to get this done, if they're really jackbull determined to get this done, they'll cut more corners. They've already cut a bunch. But here's the other problem, folks, okay? We don't know how much money has come in yet from the stadium tax for November, right? Notice everyone's been silent about that. That's why it's really important to pay attention to what's going on, okay? Because it was at 4.2 million last time, which is still under what they need. They really started off at 5 million. And ideally it should have stayed at 5 million per month, and it didn't. So it didn't. So Sisolak was always fond of telling us, oh, the stadium tax is this. Oh, the stadium tax is that. Well, we haven't heard anything this time, all right? Let me try stadium tax revenue. Clark County. Let's see if we get any updates from that are honest. Hopefully we do. And we don't. Nope. In fact, all I see is me and Darren Arata. And that's it. I see nothing about Clark County. I'm going to take stadium out of Clark County and just say tax revenue Clark County. Nope. If talking about tax abatements, reduce Clark County's tax revenue by $4 million and cut the Clark County School District's tax revenue by $11.6 million. Whoo! Officials keep quiet on Southern Nevada's pitch for Amazon HQ2. Jeez. Wow. And you know what? There's nothing here. There is nothing here. You don't have anything. It's all me. You know, talking to Sisolak, because I'm the only person that's tracked this and released the information for public view other than Sisolak when he thinks he's got good news about it, and he doesn't. Great turnout for the Latin Chamber of Commerce Awards Gala. Pleasure to be here. And I'm looking at Sisolak's Twitter account. Yeah, there's nothing here. Vegas strong benefit. Time to renew his driver's license. Speaking to Las Vegas Chamber leadership. Great group. Terrific questions. What were the questions? They had to be about the stadium, but we didn't hear them. We didn't hear the answers. Man. Oh, gosh. Oh, my gosh. Oh. But you know what? The Vegas Strong Benefit concert, I hope that went off well for them. Okay, now back to the fun here. All right. Rich says, it wouldn't shock me if Mark Davis said that. Bashua says, wow, Zindy doesn't get it, shaking my head. When are you going to have a chance to score in China? Life is short. Score what? A disease? I mean, come on, man. Joseph Bensman says, I would love to score some dumplings from China. Ditto. Basharula says, who cares about Atlanta? I do, Mayor. I do. John Marks, how about those dumplings? All right. Vegas going after Amazon HQ too. Yep. And you know what? Hey, get this. All right. You have the richest man in the world, Jeff Bezos, asking for a government handout. True? For Amazon HQ2. Dude's worth $100 million. Excuse me. Dude's worth $100 billion with a B, okay? And his project total will cost $5 billion. And he can't pay for it himself. Come on, all right? All right. All right. Rick Gray says, so are the SB1 monies being spent on clearing of? There is no SB1 money. Okay, Rick. There is no SB1 money. The bonds have not been let. It's very important you understand that. Clark County would have to meet to approve those bonds. That hasn't happened. There is, so let me put it this way. Put it to you very simply, okay? Are you listening? There is no subsidy. There's a plan to be a subsidy at some point, but there is no stadium subsidy that has been given to the Raiders via the Stadium Authority for stadium construction. There is no subsidy. All right. So, okay. All right. So I've got all the comments. I'm up to date. Bausch says, Rick doesn't watch the videos. You said only 1,000 times, maybe 2,500 times he will get it. Thanks. Yeah, I have said it a lot. I mean, it's just like, dude, you know, dude. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. All right, folks, it is, let's see, it's 1:47 in the East, which makes it 10:47 now. And I am going to get ready for a huge day. And Rick Gray says, sorry, I work when you're on. That's why I'm asking now. Rick, hey, man, it's all good. You're among family. We just you know, just breaking your balls a little, as they say. It's all right. Yeah, Donald Richardson, good talk. It was. Crawford says, Ryan Shazer has spinal contusion. Oh, my Lord. Let's see what the latest is on that. I am Raider Kuko says, any idea when we have more Vegas news? It's, what is it, 7 a.m. is the strike? Tomorrow's going to be wild at 7 a.m. I really got to get to bed. John Mark says, bet your last money it's all going to be a stone gas, honey. Ding. Yeah, I got to get to bed and get up. I try to give Vegas news whenever something comes about. I hate as opposed to having a day, right? Because then you have a day and there's nothing. And I've tried this before. You wind up repeating the same thing and it's kind of like, it gets old. You want to have fresh information to add on to form the building blocks of what you know, regardless of what it is. I mean, I have reported news on here that was favorable to the Raiders. Okay. So, all right, there's a planned workers' strike. As boss says about Vegas, fake news. He's right. Joseph Bensman says, looking forward to more collusion news tomorrow. Every day something crazy turns up. Definitely hope Shazier will be okay. Crawford says, Boss and Zinni have a Vegas live stream soon. Hey, I've asked him all, man. He kind of says he's checking out, talking about you, man. But yeah, he'll be back. I gotta get him and Dr. Death on, like for old time's sake. Bashir says, Bensman, keep America great. Trump pins to 2020. Are you gonna vote for? You're gonna vote for Donald Trump, is what it is. Oh my God, I like that ticket better. Baus and Zinni 2020. Actually, I like Zinni and Baus 2020 better than that. Bensman says, Baus, you sound like a Democrat earlier. Yeah, he does. There are elements of him that make you think this dude's an arch Republican. I'm serious. John Marks, you have to ask Godfather, man. Ask him, Joseph Ben says, spaghetti and meatballs 2020. Ew. I gotta have my, I don't know, spaghetti and meatballs. Yeah, Godfather style. Any new updates with the A's? Yes, I have an interview with the president of the Associated Students of Laney College tomorrow. It's supposed to be a live stream, and I may meet him live, okay? So stay tuned for that. That's at 8:30. I gotta check in with him to make sure that we're still on. And if we are, then I'll put out an announcement. So anyway, Bausch Ruler says, Bausch interviews Dave Cavall tomorrow at 9 a.m. Ooh. Cool. Yeah. John Mark says, D's with nuts. And yeah, Rick Gray says, okay. So I haven't heard anything. Lawsuit. Where can we watch your interview, boss? Are you going to post it here? You have an account. Dr. Black says, I hope Shazier calls it a career and enjoys the rest of his life. Don't risk trying to play again. Sad stuff. No, that whole lawsuit thing is dormant right now. It just is. Just when I'm ready to check out, people check in. Isn't that funny? I mean, it's like, it's sad. Hold on a second. Jerry Reese says, they're talking about, what? Oh, I got to get after the Giants thing while you guys are here. Welcome to Zenny62. I got to criticize the New York Giants. I leaned over to watch ESPN over yonder there. Big, over there. But, I'm going, because, look, I am tired of all of this where a team fires a coach or a general manager or both and goes on a hunting expedition for another one, but the team never seems to have any idea what it wants. What kind of structure? What kind of offense do you want to play? What kind of defense? Rather than let the coach determine that, there's enough internet information, enough information on personnel for the team to fashion a model brand, okay? And then find the people to fit that. And then determine whether or not over the course of the season, they're fitting the performance standards that were set. And if they're not, they can make adjustments. Design your team, owners. Design your team. You can do it. That's all I'm saying. Oh, man. Design your team. All right. It is almost 2 o'clock, which means almost 11. And folks, I know you just came in. Hey, welcome to Zenny62. I apologize. It's late. It is late. Rob Iman says NFL Competition Committee should adopt replay for ejections. Bouse says, yeah, Molly is a what? Okay. And, yeah, that was a problem with Joseph Binsman. I mean, that wasn't a problem with Joseph Binsman. That was a problem in the way that the Giants handled the firing of McAdoo. I mean, excuse me, that was a problem in the way McAdoo handled the benching of Eli Manning, without question. It was terrible. McGray says, what do Oakland workers want? They want health care. There's a lot of part-timers that aren't getting health care that they need. They're not getting the increase in the COLA, cost of living adjustment, that brings their income up to affordable standards of livability in the Bay Area. Basically, this whole upward drive of housing costs due to this amazing shortage of housing units has caused a big problem. Also, which is also fueled by Jerry Brown taking out redevelopment. We have redevelopment. Hey, tax increment financing, we can fuel the development of affordable housing, more affordable housing. But as I told my friend today, we have people in government who don't know how to use the tools of government to make the lives of people better. We have rampant incompetence in government. And it's evident in every place, from, heck, demolishing buildings to establishing logical policy to produce affordable housing. Oh, it's horrible. Huh. Blackman says, how do people survive living in the Bay Area? It's expensive. Well, if you're here for a while, it's easier. John Marks from here. That's it. John Marks from here. John Marks from here. That's it. Baller says, hey, Zinni, will the next governor change that? I seriously doubt it. This is a systemic generational social problem. Okay? And it's going to get worse after we seem like we're legalizing every drug on earth and people are basically just checking out of society, even as they're checked into society. And, I hate to sound doomsdayish about this, because the flip side of where we're going is that all this stuff is being decriminalized. But my concern is what I see as the abject lack of discipline in terms of how we conduct ourselves as a society, and the number of and the people who are consistently depressed because the internet has isolated them. And teenagers, particularly teenagers, are isolated, and many come from homes where maybe the divorce rate's at 50%, right? Maybe higher than that. So you have kids that come up from homes that they're just confused and lost at sea and running away. We don't have the foundation. Everything's so loosey-goosey. It's disturbing to me. Okay, so hey, you know what? Big Gray says, everyone younger than 35 living in a dorm-style setting. Tons of people in San Francisco moving to Oakland. Grand Lake rents are going up to $3,500 for 2 bedrooms. Crazy. Exactly. And I agree, Big Gray. Herm Edwards at Arizona State. Hey, exciting. Exciting. Quite exciting. All right, folks. I'm checking out. Not like that. Good night, everybody. Hey, thank you for tuning in. See you all tomorrow. Watch out for the updates about the special guest possibility. Watch horror movies, as John Marks would say, and has written. Keep America strong. You sleep well, Crawford. Bob Iman, thank you. Steve Kerr needs to take control. Everybody does. Peace. Wax on, wax off. Good night, everybody. See you all later. See you all. Keep Oakland great. See you guys later. Good night, everybody. Woohoo. See ya. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I told you all, but I'm on the special counsel's press list. See you all later. Woohoo. Yes, Robert Mueller. Stay classy, everybody. Thank you. Thank you all. Good night. See ya. Thank you. See ya.